Good morning. Welcome to Buck Don't Know. I guess I'll say much because this might go in the first minute or 3 minutes of the video, whatever it is, and you're not supposed to cuss. So I'm going to try not to cuss in the first few minutes, but y'all know what the real name of the channel is. I could just bleep it out, maybe. That's more editing, but yeah. Anyway, welcome. Took my wife's Challenger into the shop, get like some 60,000 mile maintenance done on it, right? They did flush some coolant, flush the fuel system. The car's dirty as hell, as you can see. And my wife was like, well, you know, this weekend I want you to wash it for me. It's like, okay, I can do that. So we start to leave. I'm in my truck. You know, it's a busy time of day. I was gonna take her on the back road, so she was following me, and we're in like this turning lane, about to turn right, and I'm sitting there waiting on traffic to pass me up. Been sitting there for about a minute, and all of a sudden I feel a knock, like something hit me in my truck, and well, it was my wife, who had been sitting there for, you know, probably a minute and a half, also waiting on traffic. Well, I guess she thought, she thought I was taking off. She saw a gap in the traffic. I guess she assumed that I was gonna see the same gap, and took off and hit my truck. It did a lot of damage to her car. My truck's not too bad. I can fix most of the stuff on my truck. Might have to buy a new bumper, but you know, not a big deal. But yeah, it really did a number on this car. Anyway, I don't have to wash it anymore, so that's good news. So got a little bit of welding left to do. I got a little bit under the car. Some places I don't really like the way the seams line up, and it's just I'm gonna patch in some metal panels underneath and weld them in place. It's not much welding. It'll take me, I don't know, a couple hours. Shouldn't be bad, other than it's all underneath the car. And then I gotta get the last thing inside here welding wise is the am I showing you good? Yeah, the seat pedestal. So I've got that cleaned up. My daughter helped me clean the inside of it because I want to get all this primed. It was bare metal originally, pretty rusty in there. So hit it with a grinder, then rust reformer. Didn't do anything on the outside. You can see that's still kind of rusty. I'll get that after I get the inside. Gonna get some primer on this, and today should start trying to fit this back in the car. I think it is kind of bent up on either side, so I may have a little bit of fitting and whatnot to do, and probably in these corners where I've welded, I'm thinking there's going to be some high spots. I have to probably do some adjustments, but I'm sure it'll be a project like most things are. But should get that done today, and I'm honestly ready to be done with all this welding and fabbing. Still have a ton of work under the car that I want to do. Just de-rusting, rust converter, primer, undercoating, and all these areas while I got everything tore out. Just touch everything up everywhere where it's rusting. And I don't know. Here I am thinking in my head while I'm videoing. I like to do that. But I also need to, finish cleaning the inside of the car, firewall, the rear. I have a lot of work to do there. A lot of grinding, cleaning, seam sealing, painting. I really don't know I've got a lot to do. So I'm probably going to, after I get the seat pedestal welded, I probably will go ahead and seam seal and prime these new panels so that they don't start rusting. At least get one coat of primer on them. Then start on the firewall, cleaning all that up around the rear tunnel and around behind where the back seat goes. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. Also, you know, in between I'm gonna be doing things like taking apart control arms. I got the upper control arms tore apart and in the acid bath. Got this brake assembly. Got to get, there it is. Got to get that apart. Need to get the spindles cleaned up, ready to go. I've got to get these back in. These are the, I guess, cross members of the roof. Got to get them clean, or they're clean. I got to get them welded back in. So these are all kind of things I'll be doing in between. Still got to get that, I'm gonna do this for sure before I leave. Get that air conditioner plenum. But yeah, probably not a lot of live action going on with this stuff. I actually wetted my hair down today. I don't think I have any cowlicks. I don't know if the back of my head, I usually get that line like across there. And I mean, I'll admit I probably am losing some hair and getting thinner, but you know, I don't feel like I'm going bald, but maybe I am. I don't know. I mean, 47, you know, doesn't matter. But, oh, and it's a rainy day in Texas in the mid-50s. I don't know. Guess all the beautiful weather's over. I'm gonna quit rambling, go to work. Get to work. Quit slacking.
You asked me a question.
Well, you didn't answer it, so you might as well work.
I don't know how to use this.
Put the other glove on first. There you go. Get both hands on it. Alright, I got this thing just kind of using random, mostly empty cans of primer slash paint, whatever. Got it primed up pretty good underneath. I'm happy with it. Like I said, it was bare metal before, so anything's better than what it was. But gonna get it in the car and see how it fits. Got all my welding done underneath that I was gonna do. So now I need to get it in here so I can, because once I weld it down, everything's covered up at that point. So I want to get in here and see what all needs to be seam sealed and primed. Of course, I mean, almost all that's going to be primed before I put it in. And I will use real primer on that. That's it. About to fit the seat pedestal. Just like I said, pretty much just to get it in place. Then it's going to be seam sealing and priming. Holy shit, it looks so much better with that sitting in there. You can see I've got some teeter-tottering going on, but that's not the purpose of this right now. Also, you can see these floor pans on this side at least, down here, they don't quite match up, or I cut out more than I thought I did when I was cutting this flange off. So I am going to have to create some little 90 pieces of metal and recreate that lip around there to look something like this. It's all going to be patched together. All under carpet, not going to look factory for damn sure. Got to straighten this lip out. It matching up pretty well with the floor, just bent up in some places. So my purpose here is I'm going to draw an outline, because you can see some of these seams like this one. It's really close to where I'm welding, so I don't want to put seam sealer spots where I'm going to need to be welding. So I'm just going to mark this out on both sides, and said, seam seal and prime underneath where this seat pedestal is going to go. I don't know if y'all remember from earlier videos, I was getting these spot welds out and realized that it was a big waste of time, that I didn't need to do that. 3 of them are still in place. I'll have to fix those spot welds, but that one came out, so I'll weld it back in. It's amazing. It almost looks like it did before I took it apart, minus a bunch of rust holes. It looks even better, let's put it that way. Man, I gotta tell y'all, I don't know how many people have walked in this garage and one asked me what the fuck happened, thought this was a running driving car, and then 2, they say it looks like you bit off more than you can chew. Well, they can kiss my ass. That's all I gotta say. So I got my 3M heavy duty applicator, aka caulk gun, with my 3M seam sealer. This is just a single tube. It's not a dual applicator or dual mixture type, obviously, as you can see. Yeah, I mean, it's like caulk, I guess. So I'm just going to start applying this. Never done this before, but I have a feeling in a minute I will be an expert and I will give you my advice. Okay, got it all back together. We will see how it goes this time. Maybe a little light, because I cannot see well in these dimly lit cars. And so up here I just have the spot welds where I've kind of drilled through them. And oh yeah, it works. Put the right tube in the end of it, right pusher, I guess. And I'm just gonna apply this, all these spot weld holes. And then we'll come back and spread it out. That's pretty much it, looks like. And I'll read the directions, see how long it takes to dry. But I'm gonna go through, finish this, apply a little more where I think it needs it, and let it dry, and then prime underneath here. So let me finish all that. Now I am gonna use this whole tube. Like I said, I don't know how long this shelf like this has once you bust it open and start using it. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this whole tube up. Probably should get quite a bit of the car done, it looks like. All right, seam sealed everywhere under the seat pedestal area where it's gonna go. Of course, y'all gonna be like, well, you missed a spot. And like, no, this is actually outside of the lip of the seat pedestal, so I will get it after I get done welding it in place. Some of this area, it's gonna be partially covered, partially have seam sealer. I'll just have to grind off what areas I need to when I am welding that flange on this side. Just to show you what all I got done with it, I got that hatch cover and part of that hatch cover on this side. That's where I ran out. So seam sealer all this side under the seat pedestal. I got this patch piece, which actually goes up underneath the rocker. Also some seam seal those two, and then got this full back patch that I did. Just to kind of give you an idea how far one tube will go. Got my seat pedestal up on the bench here. I am going to do some welding. I'm gonna put these back in, or this one back in. The other ones didn't fall out. I am gonna come in and refill in and grind down these spot spot welds where I cut them out. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Get this one in place. You didn't want to line up correctly on here. Probably just down there. Went ahead and put seat clamps on it. I'll get it tight top and bottom. And then I'll flip it back over. The rest of these are tight. In place. All of them are welded up, ground down. Not perfect, but for what it is, not exposed to anything exterior to the car. It is literally just to hold these little supports that are underneath here to keep the bolts from bowing this seat pedestal in when you tighten the seats down. So that's good enough for that. I am going to, like I said, get all this cleaned up. It is not a good day to be doing metal work. This is under my covered area. You see my concrete's just wet. Humidity all the way up to here. My garage is pretty much the same way. Wet about halfway into it. It's not a good day for this. Tomorrow's gonna be much better. Cold front blows through. We'll have low humidity again, but I just ain't gonna prime much, I don't think. But gonna continue on. It's adult beverage time, ladies and gentlemen. Grab a cold one, crack it open, enjoy that nice, frothy, cold, luxurious liquid as it pours down your throat. Kind of went overkill. Got basically took all the paint off of this thing that I could anyway, and hit some rust reformer in areas that I couldn't get. Just have it fitted right now. I am going to put some self tappers up over this tunnel in a few spots, maybe 3-ish of them, kind of maybe right in the middle. One here, one here, one here, and then try to, you can see this thing's still bowed up some, and then when you push down on either side, it pulls it away from the tunnel. So I'm gonna get it tight here, it's held snug, and then try to manipulate either side. That's my game plan, is get it fitted nice and tight with self tappers, hoping to use less than 10-ish, because we'll have to take them out and go in and fill in holes, either with weld or seam sealer, or probably both, but they'll be small holes. They're like 1/8 inch self tapping screws, but yeah, that's the plan. I love the way this is looking. This is gonna be great. All right, got it screwed down. Only took one over here. I think I had a couple on this flange. Had to do quite a few over there to get it all set nice and tight. I think I had 3 over the tunnel there, but yeah, it's ready to weld. Probably not gonna weld tonight. I'll give me a flat drill bit, drill out this primer. Even though you're supposed to be able to weld through this primer, I think it's only supposed to be with 1 coat. I got 3 or 4 coats on this, so I will scratch that out on all them spot welds, and then we'll have to create these angles along the side all the way down from that side to this side.
the next day.
Okay, it is beautiful outside, but Jesus, it's cold. So, working a day with the garage door closed, gonna turn the heater on, try not to asphyxiate myself. I'll crack it. Yeah, it's like the wind is blowing straight in here. It's so damn cold. Anyway, yeah, so we'll get started. Show you how I'm forming this. Like other metal, I had on different videos already, but just using my vise. That's all I really got. Yep, and that's it. I mean, it's not perfect, but it'll do the trick, what I'm trying to do. And the metal wasn't straight. All these other ones, I'll make a little better cuts on them. Like I said, just some scraps and that around. But that'll work. We'll make about, I don't know, 5 more of these. Should be enough. Just to show you what I'm doing here, this front side I had to cut out this flange where it was spot welded, so I created some pieces, and I'm not forming every little angle. I am just coming along here, spot welding and butt welding the metal, and that's actually more spot welds than it had on it to begin with, so you know, I feel like it's strong enough. I'll show you on the other side. I haven't welded these in yet. What I'm doing to start, just cutting them to size, kind of hammering them where they line up pretty flush, and you know, where there's not too big of gaps. But like right here, I will probably weld that one down. Yeah, I'll have to play with that, but basically what I was doing on the other side was welding them down to the floor pan, then hammering them back, you know, where they were flush with this. This one looks like it's got a little bow this way in this angle. I'm gonna have to beat that out. It's coming along. So I've got these 4 pieces to weld in, and then I got to put these roof pillars or cross members, I guess, back in, and I think that'll be it for welding. I think. Alright, so thought I was done with welding. I've got this seat pedestal in. I went under the car, filled in a few of the holes where I'd used the self-tappers. I've got my cross members in. I used self-tappers to hold it in place and welded it up and just left the self-tappers in. I don't think they will be in the way of anything. So that is complete. This was actually in my, when I took them down, I was like, well, this would be the first thing I'll weld. And it was actually probably the last, or almost the last. It's not the last because when I was under the car, I started seeing light. And you can see this area here has to come out. Did I see? No, there was just something shiny over there. Anyway, yeah, you can see where it's black there and pitted. This area sits a little lower. It's like a valley right there. I don't know. So anyway, I'm gonna cut that out. It's about 7 inches by, you know, 3, with a little bit of roll to it. That's nothing for a stepper, right? So, you know, bad me said, I'll just seam seal it. It'll be okay. Good me said, nah, fuck that. We love welding. And we're gonna miss it when it's gone. Just like we will our children. Anyway, before I do that little project there though, as much as I want to wrap up all the welding, you can see the rust kind of getting on some of this metal already. Definitely on that floor pan. I don't know why. Must have got some kind of moisture last night with all the humidity. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean all this up, grind off this flash rusting that I got on there, and go ahead and get some seam sealer and primer on these panels here, and probably go ahead and do these also. But yeah, I'm gonna do that first. So next time you see all this, it's gonna be red or black or gray or whatever color primer I'm going with today. Yep. Alright, there it is. Seam sealed and primed. Front panels. The seat pedestal. Did a couple of those. I ran out of primer, but I got the main part that I wanted to get covered today. These floor pans were starting to flash a little, and so was the seat pedestal. So got them ground down, cleaned up, and painted. I don't want to jinx it, but I think that is the last weld right there. I'm not gonna put my welding machine up completely just so I don't jinx it. I'll just kind of move it out of the way. But yeah, so I'm about to get back here, start grinding and building shells. It is 11. I know I said I was shooting for 9. I did have a work meeting I had to get in on. That kind of slowed me down. But yeah, so I am about to go back to work in a few days. Finally, I can't remember ever being off this long before. Anyway, it's been good. Got a lot done, and it's still got a few more days, so we'll see what we get to. But yeah, that's it. I think welding is complete. Now my favorite, grinding inside the car. Whew, I love it.